My name is Joan Friedman, and this is ALLways, ALLways, ALL for the Academy of Lifelong Learning at Cape Cod Community College in beautiful Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The purpose of ALLways is to introduce you to our curriculum, our coordinators, our special programs, our publications, and today we have a special treat. We have several of our newest coordinators who are going to speak to us about their new courses and what inspired them to become an instructor at ALL. This semester, which is our first semester coming back after COVID, we're coming back on a number of platforms. We're coming back in person, and we are still on Zoom. About half of our courses are still on Zoom. A little bit more than half of our courses are in person. But today we are, as I said, talking to our new coordinators. With us, we have Paul Codius, who is the Vice President of ALL, and he's going to speak about ALL. Carol Codius, who's a new instructor, and Carol's course was Chef for a Day. She's going to talk to us about her course and what inspired Chef for a Day. And Joe Duelli, another new instructor who has a great deal of interest in nature, and his new course is The Butterflies of Cape Cod, which I hear is absolutely beautiful. So, Paul, could you start us off, please?
Thank you, Joan. I'm the Vice President of the Academy for Lifelong Learning here on Cape Cod. The organization is 35 years old. It's nearly all volunteer. We have a single employee. It's at times been as almost 800 people enrolled and well over 100 classes. We're currently in our fall semester. We've got about 4 weeks to go. We are running about 70 classes. We've got 400 plus people enrolled. Number of new people. We're kind of just getting back to campus after being on Zoom for 2 years. And it's a really exciting time for me, because when I joined ALL, I was just preparing my first class, and I attending classes and really excited to do it. And then the pandemic hit, and I never did get a chance to teach that class online. It was all Zoom. So finally, we made it back. I do a current events class in climate change. But it's been very interesting how to adapt to our new reality. And we're looking at all kinds of things. Of course, in-person classroom has always been there, and we do that with reduced people and spacing, and some are wearing masks and things. And we have Zoom, which is terrific, but can we bridge that? Somehow combine the experience of being in the classroom and the easiness of Zoom. So I'm talking to my wife about this, and what can we do? What can we do to help ALL and make it lively and exhilarating? And Carol had this idea, so I'll let her explain to you what she thought of.
Wonderful bridge right over to Carol. Okay, Carol, tell us about your class, and then I want to talk to the two of you about a little bit about why this was so special.
Right. Joan, COVID-19 was very difficult for all of us. It was very challenging for all of us. And I think especially during those early years now, we didn't have to quarantine during all of that time, but those early months when we were really forced to stay inside and quarantine, and particularly for people like myself who tend to be very social, and that was especially challenging. But instead of falling into that, I became more introspective, and I tapped into my more artistic, creative side in a way of writing poetry through ALL, a Zoom class at ALL, which I'm very, very thankful for, and weaving, and of course cooking. And cooking came by way of reaching out to my friends and family, exchanging recipes, going on Zoom classes and sharing recipes together. And so one evening when I was creating one of these new recipes, and Paul was there sharing a glass of wine with me, and we were talking, and he was asking me about all the ingredients and the process of this preparation of this new meal. We started kind of playing around with the idea of doing a cooking show for ALL and what that might look like. And maybe could we take it one step further and bring somebody in from the class to be a chef for the day, while the other people who at this point were still Zooming most of their classes, they could take this Zoom class, this cooking class, while Paul filmed it from our kitchen. And so Chef for a Day was born.
I happen to know a little bit about Chef for a Day because actually I was in the class, and that it was enjoyable primarily because of Carol and Paul and just the ease that they had. But what I found, the difference between Chef for a Day and any other cooking show that you might watch, say, on television, was that we were on Zoom so that we could talk to each other. And if we had questions, we could ask.
Yes.
Has anybody tried this? Or, I'd really like to be able to buy that pan. Where could I buy that?
Right.
And because it was on Zoom, we could all help each other.
Yes.
And so that it was not like sitting down and watching a cooking show on television. Right. The other thing that Carol and Paul did was that they brought in this new technology into ALL, and that was just broadcasting from home. And Paul, did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, we compared to where we are right now, I ordered a little tripod from Amazon. Could extend quite high.
Yeah.
And I had a little webcam. It was about this big, sitting on top. But it was interactive. I could zoom in on that pot of boiling water, and I could ask the class, "Have you seen enough of this boiling water?" And we should back off. Carol we could explain a little bit more. Everybody was given the recipe ahead of time.
That's right.
So
Yes.
if you wanted to, you could actually cook along, and some people did.
I
So
think, Joan, you cooked along in the first class, no?
No,
You did not.
I cooked
Okay.
after.
Oh, I
after.
see.
I sat and learned, and then I did after, which was another
Yeah.
good thing because we could talk about it. Who tried it this week. But
Right.
and no, I didn't. I
Right.
didn't actively.
But there
cook.
we did have one or two people
did.
in that first class who actually cooked in their own kitchens along with us as we prepared the dish.
Yeah,
and that was, pretty special.
Which was actually great fun
Yeah.
too, because it was really active participation.
Well, there was a cry of
Right.
alarm right at the beginning, remember? You're going too fast.
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah, it was
probably.
great.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it was that was a Zoom class, and it worked out very well from Carol's kitchen again because we could all communicate with each other. So that went great. That went great.
Right.
But we have Joe Duelli with us tonight, and he's another new instructor. Joe's class is The Butterflies of Cape Cod. Joe, could you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do this course, and a little bit about what your class looks like?
Sure. I have been surveying for butterflies since about 2010, and have accumulated a database for population changes over time, and have occasionally done hour-long presentations in other places. And so I've been a member of ALL for, I can't even remember when I started taking classes, more than a decade ago, I think. And it just seemed pretty natural to take the presentations I was doing elsewhere, expand it into a 6-week class, and do it at ALL. And it's really worked out well. We're trying to, the class is having fun. I think what makes it easy for me as an instructor is that the members of the class are very engaged, and we do a PowerPoint presentation, and they see the pictures and they point things out on the butterflies, and they ask excellent questions, some that I can't answer. And there's great discussion, and we're laughing a lot, and we're just having a nice time. And we're learning about butterflies. There's learning going on. So it's been a real good experience for me as a first-time instructor, to a large extent because the class is helping me out a lot at it. And so that's my background. I kind of got started on the butterflies by doing volunteer work at Mass Audubon's Long Pasture. And they were putting in their butterfly mosaic trail, and I was helping with the butterfly gardens. And I didn't know anything. These butterflies were flying around me, and I didn't have any idea what they were. So I decided to learn, and joined the Mass Butterfly Club to learn from people who were knowledgeable. And that worked out well, and I've worked with the eButterfly database and so on. And, it's an accumulation of knowledge that I'm trying to share with people. And so we look at the butterflies, we look at the features of the butterflies, how their wing patterns are, how to identify butterflies. And you can't understand butterflies without understanding their relationship to plants. So we talk about larval host plants and nectar plants, which then in turn leads to natural areas and natural habitats and ecosystems. And then we try to include our backyards as part of the ecosystem. And how can we attract butterflies and pollinators into our yards? So we talk some about pollinator gardening and that sort of thing. So that's kind of an overview of how the course goes.
You've both talked about the people in your class and how much you've enjoyed them. I think that's part of the wonderfulness of ALL. The quality of our instructors, and the depth of background that our students have. That they, as you said, they can help carry you because they're because of their interest and their many very varied backgrounds. Well, I want to thank the three of you for being up on stage with me and helping me spread the word about ALL, about our very, very wonderful instructors and our very, very wonderful curriculum and students. I also wanted to let people know that the Academy for Lifelong Learning is run entirely by volunteers. I say it's a college inside of a college, and that we are always looking for students, we're always looking for new instructors, but we're always looking for people on our many boards, including people who could help us out here at the broadcast studio at Cape Cod Media. We want you to get in touch with us. Could you please get in touch with us, get on our mailing list so that we can send you out our information and our brochure. Our address is Lifelong Learning at capecod.edu, or you can call our office at 774-330-4400. We also have a website, and you can look for our programs here on Channel 99 at Cape Cod Media. So thank you very much, and goodbye.